this is it, right? It is about building the new financial system.
You know what that is when you create with your own equity or your own token, is you've created your own printing press. But in order for your printing press to work, you need to have two other things. You need to have taxing authority and a standing army. Because if you don't have those and you create a printing press, it's not going to work.
If you were scripting the perfect scam, you would involve celebrities, you would involve sports and athletics, and you would create this aura of legitimacy.
Mm-hmm.
But the books
Fortune favors the brave.
Fortune favors the brave, but the books wouldn't balance.
Right. And
if the books don't balance, it's amazing. It's amazing what you can do if you don't actually have to balance the books. Mm-hmm. Look at the United States. We can send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine that gets funneled then back to defense companies in the districts that the senators own. Okay, but we don't have to fund it with anything because we could just run a deficit. I don't know.
It's amazing what you could do when you send $500 million of customer money to Sequoia to invest back into your brokerage firm.
Okay, yeah, but here's the thing. So I don't know about you, but in my family, if my income goes down, my spending has to go down. I just don't understand how that works.
I think that the important thing, we haven't touched on kind of the legend that was built around Alameda. And I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard SBF describe how Alameda first came to be, but it was a very similar story, very consistent story that he told over the years, which is, I used to be at Jane Street. We understood what arbitrage was. I looked at these spreads. He talks about this thing that used to exist called the kimchi premium, which was the Bitcoin that was trading locally in the United States on exchanges based over here. Was, at some point anywhere from like a 15 to like at times like 20 to 30% difference, right? It was much more expensive over in South Korea specifically. So I think the reason why that was an important story to tell is it implied the strategy that Alameda would use for making money, right? It implied a strategy of arbitrage as opposed to going lever long on shit. And it provided an explanation for this is how I make my money, my cash, right? Because FTX and Sam were promising enormous amounts of money, right? I don't know what the rights to that stadium cost. I don't know what the rights to TSM cost, but 500.
That's what I heard.
Okay, $500 million, Sequoia, donation. He participated in Twitter, bought or whatever. He tried to, maybe he didn't actually, but he tried to buy or he bought that share of Robinhood, like huge amounts of like real cash money. And I think, FTX, from what I heard, I haven't looked at their books, but I heard they were not a super cash profitable business at that point. They were spending on growth. They were cash flow negative. So it begs the question, where the hell are you getting all this cash from?
Stealing it.
It's my money. It's your money. It's customer money. There's a lot of money.
They stole it.
Money.
This is going to go down as one of the great, scams in history.
And a lot of people still don't get it. I mean, Dave Portnoy had a tweet the other day. He goes, well, I bought some Bitcoin on FTX. So why can't I get my Bitcoin back? Because it's no longer there, Dave. They took it out of your account and they blew it on something. They sent you a piece of paper with a number on it, but there was nothing backing that number.
And the other part, exist. To that part, Jim, look at the history of frauds. It's family. Madoff, family. It was his brother-in-law that was running the, I always say the thing about, Madoff, they call it hedge fund problem, but there was no hedge and there was no fund, right? He hadn't made a trade in 13 years, literally had not made a trade in 13 years. And there was no fund, right? The money would come in and his brother-in-law would transfer it into his personal accounts and he stole people's money. All the while.
The incredible thing about Madoff was for 13 years, they would, remember this is pre-internet, they would mail you a piece of paper with a bunch of numbers on it.
Yeah.
And you'd look at it and go, oh, wow, look at me, I'm rich.
And then
he kept that going for 13 years. It was incredible.
But he also did the inclusion thing. He would hold court at the Palm Beach Country Club and he would sit in the corner like I am at a table for four. I'm actually sitting at a table. And he would leave one seat open and a other member would bring a newbie to meet the king. And I was there and I watched this. This guy gets up, says, "You have to let me in. Don't you know who I am?" And the guy had said, "I'll invest, but I need to come meet your team." And Bernie's like, "No, you're out." So it was this non-transparent, opaque. So we got family. We got the ex-girlfriend running, who has no experience, none, okay, running this multi-billion-dollar trading firm. We got other family members involved, like there's some other uncle or something or aunt that is the head of regulatory. And then you had the famous, I think they were Korean brothers, again, down in Palm Beach, that ran the crypto scam. Not the crypto, the hedge fund scam. It's always family. And you got Bankman. Oh, by the way, where did Bankman go to school? He went to this place called Yale. There's this skull and bones thing, and they're all politically connected. And Clinton, who also went to Yale and spoke at the FTX conference, and then Fried again. What is her job? What is her job? Her job is to raise money for politicos. Okay, but she's a Stanford professor, and anyway. I digress. This is bad stuff.